started on politicians and the lies they spread. Don't even mention sex and religion.
Okay, hello everyone, this is Leon Cruz from the Intense Apex Alpha Male podcast. This is podcast number 6. Today is November the 13th, 2016, and for this podcast I'll be interviewing our old friend Freddie from Stop the Left, who's been doing some pretty exciting things up to this point. He has his website up and running, www.stoptheleftonline.com, and you can also reach him at stop_the_left_ on his Instagram. So you can follow him and see what kind of exciting stuff he's up to. Freddie is known as a citizen journalist, very educated in the art of citizen journalism, bringing you the facts and what's really happening in the real world. And also, Freddie, I want to congratulate you because during this election cycle, you were very much involved, bringing some exciting things to the fold, and you've also managed to expose a lot of the lies the media is pumping out. So thank God for guys like you who are going out there and doing exactly what the media is supposed to be doing, but is not. You've proven that the citizens of this country are fed up with the garbage and the crap and the nonsense that's coming out of the idiot box and also out of the school system and newspapers. You see, it takes guys like you and you know, young guys like you to really get the word out there. So the victory on Tuesday falls on you as well.
Yeah, so
How's that for an introduction, Freddie?
yeah, keep it coming. No, just kidding. It was a good introduction. I
Right.
appreciate it. I appreciate the hard work you do as well. I just feel it's something we have to do. We have to keep the media in check. We have to keep the politicians in check. So that's what I try to do with Stop the Left. As you mentioned, I finally have the website running. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to tweak some things and eventually make it better. The online store, I've been talking about it a lot, but that's what we try to do. That's what we try to do at Stop the Left. It's a place where conservatives can connect. It's a place where conservatives can, talk about what they feel, talk about their views without risking being shut down or without risking, being outcasted by society, mainly the progressive left. So I'm very excited about the website. And like you said, we're doing big things since the last time we spoke.
Yeah, it's very exciting because a lot of young guys like you, millennials, smart guys, understand the garbage that's going on. It's very sad that we see the media focusing mostly on the lobotomized, brain-dead idiots and giving them credit when they're actually doing, pretty awful things out there like rioting. And we notice that the age group basically that's doing these things fall between the ages of 18 and 30. There's one of the polls that came out, and it's that age group that's basically been conditioned to believe all these lies.
Which is very sad because most of these kids they have never seen anything other than the U.S. So I see these kids as, I'm sorry to say it, but they're spoiled, they're brats, and they grew up in a generation where everyone gets a trophy, and that's why they behave like that. That's why they're protesting the Trump victory. That's why they're protesting a person who got elected through a process, basically through democracy, and they're protesting that. So what they're basically saying is that they'd rather have a system like in North Korea where you have no election and this is the guy who's going to rule over you and this is it and sorry. That's basically what they're saying. That's the only alternative I see to, someone being elected how Trump was elected.
Yeah, and how do you view? Because I was looking at the map, the Drudge Report, and it looks like he won by pretty much a landslide, almost like Ronald Reagan did back in '84. Almost like a landslide. What does that tell you?
That tells you that people are waking up. One of the stats that I absolutely loved about this election was the Hispanic vote. and I'll tell you why. Because it's dear to me. I'm sure it's dear to you. We're both Hispanics. I'm a Hispanic immigrant. I originally come from a very socialist country in South America. The Hispanic vote meant a lot to me this election because Trump did well with Hispanics, and they were pushing the narrative saying that he was a racist, he hated Hispanics, he hated anyone who wasn't white, and it looked like the people actually, in particular Hispanics, they voted for him at a higher percentage than they voted for Mitt Romney in 2012, which was very good because Mitt Romney, they weren't pushing, this narrative that he was a racist or that he was a bigot, he hated Hispanics. But with Trump, they were hammering him and hammering him. And it's all I would hear. I live in New York City. That's all I hear. Trump is a racist, misogynistic, but it was mostly the racist part. So when Hispanics came out and voted for, Trump, it was a big slap in the face of the establishment. It was a big slap in the face of the media, the pollsters, and Hillary Clinton was arrogant about it. She thought she had it in the bag. She thought that she controlled the Hispanic vote. And yes, she did win the Hispanic vote. But it says something when Trump actually got higher Hispanic votes than Mitt Romney did in 2012. That tells you something. That tells you that, to a certain extent, some of us are waking up. Some of us are tired of being used as just a vote every 4 years, or we're tired of being classified as just a demographic. We're people. We can think for ourselves, and that's the statistic that I absolutely loved this election.
Well put. The way I saw it, because I've been following this election, Trump's running since he tossed his hat into the ring very closely,
Yeah.
and I noticed that he got it from his own party, which is the establishment Republicans, definitely from the liberal freakazoids, the liberal left and the progressives, who are the regressives. He also got it from the globalists, who control the media, who control the newspapers and all that. He was getting it from the public school system. He was getting it from the newspapers, magazines. I mean, they were all going against him. I even wrote an article saying that he wasn't going to win because
Yeah.
I mean, he was like
I read it.
a fish swimming upstream against all of this coming down. You read the article, right?
You're right, right,
Yeah.
yeah. And I even said on the article, I commented, I said, I really hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
And then I had the same prediction, and we were both wrong, and it feels good to be wrong.
Yeah, I'm incredibly happy that I'm wrong because you see what this shows us is this is like Brexit 2.0.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
the people in Britain were facing the same thing with the media, like over here. The European Union kept on selling them propaganda, but the people said no, and they voted them out. And the same thing over here. We were being fed shovelfuls of propaganda to the point where even one of my neighbors was repeating the propaganda, saying that he was a rapist. He had a 15-year-old. I said, "Oh no! You're confusing him with Clinton, Bill Clinton. That's who you're talking about." But apparently, she actually believes this nonsense that all of these things and she had a conversation with my wife about these things, and I said, "Where is she getting her information from?" But this is the mainstream media. And I work in the school system. Is the same thing. You have to see the UFT paper was bashing him, which is a unionized, socialistic union newspaper. You have the
Right.
Daily News over here in New York City. All of these papers bashing him and everything. Then you have Spanish TV bashing him.
Disgusting. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
you're
So,
right.
so when I heard he won, that's like shoveling horse crap on everybody's faces because that tells you right there that the smart people spoke. Because
Right. Absolutely.
yeah, they make up a minority. That tells us right there that those people who are pushing that are basically truly a minority.
Right. And it was funny because everything you said is absolutely true. And even Trump said it. I think it was his last rally. It was in Michigan. I think it was at midnight, and it really impacted me what he said because the night before the election, he said, we don't need Jay-Z, we don't need Bon Jovi, we don't need Katy Perry to, endorse me. I don't need the endorsements from celebrities. I'm glad I have your endorsement. The people is what matters to me. And Clinton, let's be serious, she outspent them what 3-1. She
Yeah.
had way more money. She had way more money in the bank than him. I'm not a political analyst, but that has to account for something and she had all these endorsements, and And then they woke up on Tuesday and they were lose. Oh, sorry, Wednesday, and they were losers. They all lost. They lost to Trump, and now they can't even accept the result. But they're losers. That's what it comes down to. They lost, and it's a shame because, like you said, she had the media in her pocket. She had all these celebrities who were bashing Trump and praising her. She had, the hypocrite Miley Cyrus who talks about Trump objectifies women, yet she gets on stage and objectifies herself. Same thing with Beyonce. All these public figures, which the idiots love, by the way. Unfortunately, the idiots love them, and somehow Trump pulled it off. So I spoke with Jesse Wilkins on the Menonism show, and he said it's one of the like the greatest upsets in American politics, and I agree.
It
It's one of the
is.
greatest upsets.
It is because again, you and I've both we've seen how he took it from everybody. I mean, really, he took it from. He had no friends basically. If you look at the grand scheme of how the machine is set up, even Paul Ryan, that little fruitcake Republican, the
Huh.
one who's Speaker of the House, was
Yeah,
talking against him.
right.
And you had all these people talking against him. I said, "Wow, he was getting it." And now we see he managed to overcome that in of itself. If you really think about it, is a great thing. This is something for real alpha men to look up to and be proud of because it shows you right there that if you're on the right side of things and you push hard, work hard, you can succeed.
Right, absolutely. And you had his own party, like you said, going up against him. One of the biggest moments that, I think the media slept on and failed to call out these hypocrites was, people like Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham were criticizing him and vilifying him for saying that when he failed to raise his hand to say he might not support the eventual nominee,
Hmm.
they were criticizing him, and then they come out and say, "Well, I didn't vote for Trump." So basically, they broke their promise. They broke their promise to the party,
Hmm.
and they talk about unity in the Republican Party and the GOP. You know me, I hate both parties. I'm going to be honest with you. I hate both parties. I think they're both corrupt. I hate them both. But you want to talk about unity in the GOP, and then you're slandering the candidate that we chose. That doesn't show unity whatsoever, and that just makes you a hypocrite. And that's basically what I do. I will call out a politician regardless, and you know this. I will call them out regardless if they're left, right, Republican, Democrat. I really could care less. So now that Trump is president, it's great, but it's also our job to hold his feet to the fire. You
Absolutely.
know, I,
Yeah.
I don't agree 100% with what Trump says. I'd say probably 70, 75, 80, maybe. But now it's our, job to be accountable, to be, transparent. And if he does something wrong or if he, screws up along the way, we'll be there to call it out because that's our job. That's our job.
Yeah. Um, the way I see it is like this. I'm happy he won because he's not an establishment politician at all. He came from the private sector.
Right.
He is a corporatist, but he's not a globalist. He hasn't shown us that. But he is going to work with Newt Gingrich. We all know that Gingrich is a globalist. He said it, and he didn't say it in those words, but he said that Trump is not part of the club. So that tells you
Yeah.
right there. So he's going to be working with him. He's going to be working with quite a few people who are globalists. Another thing that concerns me a bit is he plans to go after the Federal Reserve, and you and I both know through our studies and history that when you decide to go after the Federal Reserve, you're basically taking your life in your own hands. Because the last president
Right.
that tried to do that was Kennedy, and he was assassinated. That was one of the things he tried to do, was to get rid of the Federal Reserve, which is basically a banking cartel owned by private bankers, dictating our monetary existence here in this country and around the world. They're the ones who are
Right.
also pushing for a globalist agenda. So one of the reasons why they're driving up the devaluation of the dollar and also creating zero interest rates. These things have a way of collapsing an economy, and this is by design because they want globalism. Globalism is once you destroy its currency and a whole host of other things like a domino effect will take place. But again, the election of Trump put a halt to that somewhat. Time will tell what he's going to do. The only reason why I'm a bit elated is because they put a stop to Hillary Clinton's plans, because all she was going to do is expedite the process of globalism by attacking our first five of our amendment rights. The first and second were the ones she was going to go after big time. And again, you and I both know that the Second Amendment is there to protect our First Amendment rights. First Amendment rights is not to protect nicey, touchy-feely speech. It's basically to protect speech that's very offensive. And when people don't like that type of offensive, they're going to try to hurt you. That's where the Second Amendment comes in. We need that to protect us. You see? We see all these riots going on right now. People expressing their First Amendment rights and gangs beating them up in other parts of the country. You see?
Yeah.
And that's where a good gun comes in. You understand? It comes to that point where people, you have nuts out there that are not going to like what you're saying. You're going to have nuts that don't like you and I discussing this. That's the purpose of the Second Amendment, to protect us, first of all, from tyrannical government, and second of all, to protect our First Amendment freedom of speech. Do you agree with that?
No, absolutely. I agree with it 100%. I live by the First Amendment. I can't say I live by the second. As you know, New York City, it's tough. But I live by the First Amendment because that's my right to offend others. And as long as we're able to offend people in this country, then we are free people. Because the moment you start protecting certain speech and certain narrative, then you become a country that's one-sided or led by a dictator in a sense. Because look at the riots that are going on in New York City, Manhattan. They're pushing for protection of certain speech. They don't want you to say "Make America Great Again." They don't want you to be able to choose your own candidate. They don't want you to make your own decision and vote for the person you like. Now they want to beat you up, and now they want to call you a racist and slander you and outcast you. They don't believe in First Amendment rights. They'll only say that when when they're trying to push their agenda. But someone who actually believes in freedom defends the other person's right to have it as well. For
Right.
example, they're protesting in New York City. They're protesting in California. They're protesting everywhere, Oakland, and you name. I'm okay with that as long as it's not violent, as long as you're not threatening people, as long as you're not hurting people, and I'm okay with that. Protesting, the blocking traffic is pretty annoying, but it's your right to protest. Even though I disagree with you, I will defend your right to do it. But these people wouldn't do that for me and you. They wouldn't
No.
do that. God forbid we try to set up, an event. They'll show up and they'll threaten us. They'll beat us up. They'll do whatever they can. You know how New York City works. You know how it is. You can't even wear a "Make America Great Again" hat and get on the subway. It's impossible.
Hmm.
You'll probably get confronted, or and unfortunately, that's the globalist plan. First take away the second, so once they don't have the tool or tools to protect themselves, then they'll be scared to speak or they'll be scared to speak out. But
Right.
what they fail to realize is that we're not going away so easily. We're still going to say the things we want to say, and we're still going to, in my view, we're still going to offend as much as we can because the moment we're not allowed to offend people, the moment we have to ask permission to offend someone, that's how you know you're not free anymore.
Yeah, Freddie, it's like you said. Uh, we're not going anywhere. Heck, the Tuesday elections prove that there are many decent Americans like us who are not going anywhere. I mean, you have to stay and fight for what's right. I mean, enough. This is
Right.
this the past 8 years. It has expedited. I mean, it started after 9/11, basically with the
Yeah.
Bushes, because we know the
Hmm.
Bushes were socialists. Now looking back, we know that, and the 9/11, the shadow government's plot with 9/11 and the Patriot Act, and then gave birth to the sock puppet we had in the White House for the past 8 years, and pushing stupid non-issue agendas. I mean, if you ever look at their playbook, you look at the things they stand for. They're kind of stupid. First of all, like global warming, that's a lie. The plight of the polar bear, that's another lie. racism. I
Right.
mean, come on, this is
It's stupid.
2016. Yeah, these. Where do you
Right.
see the racism at? I don't. You go to my school where I work at. What do you see? I mean, come on. Is pathetic. These issues they bring up. Then the women issues, which are non-existent. My mother's a
Yeah.
woman. My sister's a woman. My beautiful
Right.
wife is a woman. They don't have these problems. So what are they talking about? You understand?
Yeah,
And
all those women you mentioned, I've had the privilege to meet them, your wife, your mom, your sister, all successful women. I don't see what, walls they face that, these fake walls that the feminists are talking about, that they're somehow oppressed and that they have to, climb these walls in order to get to the same place that men are at. All these are just excuses.
they
Even my own example, I I was speaking with a friend who visited me here recently. And we're both immigrants, and we both said, this country welcomed me with open arms. Ever since I got here, 16 years ago, I've never felt, that I was outcasted because of my race or because of where I came from. Everyone here welcomed me with open arms. And I'll always love this country for that and its people for that. Because I've never, I've said it a million times. I live in New York City. I deal with the same cops that everyone is complaining about. I am technically, I hate to use the word, but I'm a minority. Why don't I feel that racism that you guys are talking about? Why is it that I never get in trouble with the law like you guys do? I'm sorry to say it. And then we had an idiot on my page. I don't know if you remember. She was saying because I guess she assumed I was white. She said, minorities get stopped by cops every day. Minorities in inner cities. Well, I'm a minority in an inner city, and I've never felt this. I've never experienced this. And her stupid answer was, well, maybe you've been statistically lucky. See, when you call them out, there's nothing there. There's no argument. There's no facts.
no,
They use things like, yeah, they use things like statistically lucky. That's such a that doesn't even make sense to me.
that's stupid.
Statistically lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
remember,
stupid
it
argument.
was you and I. We were going back and forth with her, a real dummy. Once I found out her age, she was about 23, automatically told me that she has scrambled egg for brains. She knows nothing. Plus, she lives in the suburbs. So what does she know anything about the ghetto and a minority or whatever, other than what she reads in a stupid socialistic history book? I mean, really?
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
So
right. And then
they get this garbage from the college textbooks and the high school textbooks. I have like about four of them in my library that talks this nonsense. My wife got her undergrad degree in not socialism, excuse me, on
careful
sociology.
there.
They
Right.
don't give out degrees in those things. No,
Yeah.
she got a degree in sociology, and she's the first one
Right.
to tell me you got to see all the crap that they talk about,
Hmm.
all this garbage,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
if you're not a Christian and understand the Lord and the Bible and things like that, you fall for this nonsense. And on top of that,
Yeah.
we visited her page and she automatically put it private. She didn't want us going back to her page.
Yeah, and then you see, that's what I'm saying. They claim to be for free speech, but yet I let her have free speech on my page, yet she blocked me on hers. So where is the debate? They don't want to debate.
No,
They
no,
don't want to debate.
no.
It's come to the point where they just want to say, "Shut up, you're a racist. We're right. This is what it is," and accept it. So when it comes down to Trump, when he won the election, they were shocked. They didn't know what to do. So what did they do as being the good progressive liberals that they are? They went to New York City and they protested someone who was democratically elected.
Hmm.
That's just liberal behavior. You know, 2008, no protest. 2012, no protest.
No.
And you can't even say that. Oh, it's the racist in America. It's Middle America that elected Trump, because that's not true. Trump turned the blue state of Pennsylvania. Trump won Florida.
Hmm.
It's a
And
very
Ohio
diverse
too.
state.
Yeah.
And Ohio as well. So you can't even say, you can't even talk about racism, because the same people that elected Obama in 2008 and 2012 changed their mind and elected Trump. It happened. It happened because he won Florida. Obama won Florida in 2012. So you can't even use the argument of race anymore. But they'll find race in anything. That's what they've been conditioned, especially the young minds of today. They have been conditioned by their college professors. And thank God I dropped out of college. I'm proud to say it, that I'm a college dropout. I'm proud to say it. I would have been a high school dropout, to be honest with you. I never liked school because of the indoctrination. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
these kids are paying good money to have a professor tell them how bad America is, and they're hearing that on a day-to-day basis, and it sticks, and this is why you see them protesting. This is why you see them behaving the way they do.
Well, here's something, Freddie. I think last week there was an article on the Drudge Report where now basically everything that's being taught in these colleges can be learned online. Did you know that? I put that
Absolutely.
Yeah, I put that up in my Instagram. And it gives you all the information. So I put it to the test. I took a catalog from York College,
Yes.
and I took one of the courses where they name it. It was Introduction to Biology, right? So
Right.
I Googled it. Not only do they give you where to get the textbook at in Amazon, they also give you videos and they give you a curriculum. So I tested it out for that course. I did it with English, social studies, and math. And I got complete curriculums on those
Wow.
subject areas. You just keep the pathetic professor out of the picture and you can get yourself a good education. Only thing is that they don't give you a degree, but you're getting the
Right.
knowledge.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, if you have a plan when it comes to college, if you know the degree you're getting will land you a job, by all means, I'm not knocking. I'm actually thinking of going back just for, employment reasons. But there's so many useless degrees out here. You have what, African American studies? What a useless degree that is. You have women's studies, another useless
Well,
degree,
we all know that
and
women's studies is lesbian studies. You know that, right?
right, but it's garbage. You'll never make money in the real world with that degree. And these are the same people who choose those degrees and spend a lot of money in college. Now they're broke and now they want you to pay for it because life is unfair and I don't know how to make decisions. So therefore you have to pay for my bad ones. That's their frame of thinking. They don't believe in cutting your losses and moving forward. I've made mistakes in my life. I've made some bad investments. Not only with money, with time, with with everything, But as a man or as an adult, let's say, you learn to cut your losses and move forward. They don't know how to cut their losses and move forward. They rather whine and blame the other person and say, "Well, it's the evil white man that's bringing me down." That's so stupid.
But those
That
are
is so stupid. They're so. This is what I tell people who are always talking about race and stuff because it's one of the least interesting topics out there. Race. It's so boring. I tell them, you have to stop being so paranoid. No one is out to get you. Stop being so paranoid. These people will be scared of their own shadow and call it racist in the middle of the night because they're so paranoid. They've been brainwashed, like I said, by their professors to think that everyone is out to get them, that everyone has a certain prejudice against them. And once again, I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Neither do I. And you and I are both Hispanic. I mean, that's another one of the little things the liberals pull out of their playbook. The oppression of minorities, right? One of them is Hispanics. I've never seen that. Honest to God, I've never seen that.
Yeah, right. And looking at where you come from and where I come from, it's pretty similar stories because look, you grew up in the hood and during the 80s where New York City was a mess. It was a complete mess. Everyone was on drugs. People were burning down their houses for the insurance money. It was a mess. You grew up in the hood in the 80s, in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
You can speak on first account what it is to be in the hood, but you actually didn't stay there. You moved up. You became what you are today. You're very educated. You have your website, you have your career, right? So you can speak from a first-hand account. I don't believe that these 18-year-olds, these 24-year-olds, and even these professors who are pretending to be for the minority, pretending to be for the oppressed, they have no idea, what the hood is actually thinking. They have no idea. Same thing like these people that, praise socialism. They've never even stepped foot outside the United States of America to know what socialism is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I come from a socialist country. I know what it's like. I know what it's like. And when I go back to visit my family over there, I don't stay at a resort. I stay in the hood and over there. So I know how bad and how terrible people are actually struggling. So why would I come here and support someone like, let's just say, Sanders, who dropped out? Why would I support someone like that who wants to bring the misery of socialism into America? So that's and they don't like that. They don't like that we're able to reason, because once again, they're the racists. They think because we're Hispanics, we have to think a certain way. And that's not happening. Not with me, at least.
You know, Freddie, I was with my wife at the pizza restaurant, and they usually have the television on to New York One, which is a channel that gives news 24 hours. And I heard Bernie Sanders saying, now that Trump is president, he has to live up to his promises, and he has to stop it with the racism, stop it. And I tell my wife, these are all non-issues. He never said anything about racism. I mean, that's a liberal argument. It's a stupid argument. They bring that up to touch your emotion. That's like I might say, you really have to be a flaming fruitcake to subscribe to the liberal philosophy, honest to God, because it's based on knee-jerk reaction, emotional reasoning. There's nothing there. And then when you call them and you have what's called a civil debate with them, they have no facts and no information. You see?
Right. You're 100% correct. And one of the weakest species out there is the white guilty liberal, because I've never seen a race hate itself like I've met some very, very, strong white guys who don't put up with no crap, but I'm talking about the New York City, the liberal that weighs 90 pounds and he shops at Hot Topic, whatever. So those guys, they'll say,
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Right. They'll go to those stores, and their girlfriend will wear their pants in the relationship. Those kind of guys, to give you an idea, they wear the hipster glasses, they have the same haircut as everyone else. Those guys.
Those are the type of guys who want to choke out in the ring and practice.
Right, absolutely. Right. Unfortunately, we can't do that, but if they were to challenge us, we would. But right, so they'll sit here and say, I saw a tweet. I put out a tweet. They'll sit here and say, F white America. Meanwhile, they're white Americans. I don't understand that. How can you hate yourself so much that you'll actually, cater to the stupidity of others? They'll put on shirts that say, "I'm sorry for slavery." Can you believe that? Can you actually believe how weak you have to be to cater to that?
And also,
you feel so guilty that you feel so guilty that you have to put on a shirt saying sorry for something you never did. That is. I think that's the weakest you can possibly get. That's the lowest you can get.
Yeah, and another thing is when they talk about black people and the black man, I don't see. Honest to God, I don't see black. I don't see that. What I see, like I have a friends who are of the darkest skin complexion, I say, right? And I look at them as men, and I look at them as women, okay? I don't see them in groups, all right? And many of them, the guys that I know, are men with backbone, who have integrity and credibility and belief in God. The same thing with a lot of the women. So they don't fall under that victimization nonsense, but the media seems to focus a lot on that as well. And also, again, with like with the Hispanics and all that. And getting back to what you were saying, the self-hating white person, they're truly pathetic because they're basically pandering, and we see that here in New York City. We see it in the school system, in all these liberal states. They're the ones who are causing the beatdowns that they're getting as well. You know that.
Yeah, unfortunately. And to go back to everything we have talked about this evening, that they hate themselves so much that they'll cater to stupidity, but in reality, they want to be the people or spokesperson for minorities and all the people who are oppressed. But in reality, they don't even have the slightest clue as to what the issues truly are. Like I said, someone like you is in a better position to speak about what's going on in a place like East New York, Brooklyn, where people are, facing tough times. Someone like me is more, liable to speak on behalf of, socialism and things like that. But no, they absolutely have no knowledge on these issues, but yet they speak as if they're experts. That's what really pisses me off about that crowd.
Yeah, and like I said before, the reason why Hillary had to lose was because she was going to expedite globalism at a super speed pace. She made no qualms about it when she was talking about raising taxes on the middle class, attacking our First and Second Amendment rights, free college. Where's the money going to come from for that? Going forward and pushing more on that universal health care nonsense. She was going to push forward that and stiffer fines if you don't have, you know.
Yeah.
That's all part of the globalist agenda. And on top of that, she wasn't going to do anything for anybody. Nothing for nobody. See, that's the big joke.
Right, and it's more victimization, and the people get stupider. If I'm hoping, I believe it or not, I really think Trump is going to unify the country through law and order. That's how I think he's going to do it. Because, like you said, Hillary, go back to the free college thing. It's so stupid. College is an investment. Technically, college is an investment. Why are you forcing the taxpayer to bail you out for your investment? Once again, cut your losses and move forward. College is supposed to be an investment. You want to better yourself. You don't see, if I'm going to open up a business, I don't ask the government to bail me out or give me money in order to start that business. College is an investment just like opening up a business. You want a degree in order to make yourself more, hireable or make yourself more valuable in the work, or, the work field that you're trying to study in. Why is it that we have to bail you out? God forbid it doesn't work out. I just don't understand that. I don't understand why.
Here's another thing, Freddie. Not everybody is college material.
Right. That's the thing. But when you want to give away free college to everyone, and then that's another thing. If this is just me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that if you're giving everyone access to free college, then what's a college degree going to be worth? It's going to be the same as a high school diploma, which is going to be pretty much nothing, because even the illegals have high school diplomas.
Yeah.
So what is a college degree going to mean? Absolutely nothing. And then you're going to have to keep studying and keep being in school in order for it to actually mean something. So that's just my analysis on the whole free college thing. Investment. Whatever happens, you're responsible for your own investment. You're responsible for your own future, not the government.
Yeah. And it comes to that point, basically, what the Constitution shows us is that government has to play a very small role. And unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where government is in everybody's business. And, we see the brainwashing of the masses being taught to accept that as normal. And that's not normal at all.
It's not. I mean, like you said, government's supposed to play a small role. I think in one of Trump's, I think he wrote out I briefly looked at it, his first 100 days in office, he said that for every federal regulation passed, two existing ones have to, basically come out, which is very good. Which is very good because it's going to limit the role of the federal government, which is what we have to do. But I just don't see how anyone could read that and say, wow, this sucks. How, I don't understand that. That's such a good thing. Don't these people want freedom from government? Don't they want freedom from, big government watching them and things like this, or controlling their lives? Or do they want to continue to be slaves to the federal government? So I don't understand how people can read his proposal for his first 100 days and think, wow, this guy is horrible. Let's go protest in Fifth Avenue. I just don't understand that. They're crybabies. And that's why I'm actually gonna mention it now. I actually got a get well soon card for Hillary Clinton. I don't know if you saw that.
She sent you one?
No. I got one for her because I saw her speech, her concession speech and she looked destroyed. She looked sad.
I heard she was crying and blaming everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah, right. So what I did for this big crybaby is I got her a get well soon card. I plan to mail it to her or tweet it to her, whatever it is. So I got some of my followers to comment and say what they wanted to put on the card. They weren't very nice, but you know. I don't blame them. The way Hillary was talking about us throughout the whole.
Yeah, we were. What did she call us?
Deplorables.
Deplorables, right? A bunch of deplorables.
Yeah.
And here's
Yeah.
another thing that changed the election as well was the WikiLeaks. Julian Assange's
Oh, yeah.
constantly all this information coming out. Her right-hand man, John Podesta, was involved in spirit cooking, which is a demonic practice. Even though the lady that practices it will tell you she's not a Satanist, but what she says and what she does are two different things. You just have to watch what she's doing. That tells you all automatically what it is and what these people are into.
And this election was the biggest tribute. You're probably sick and tired of mentioning him, but this election was the biggest tribute to Andrew Breitbart. Let me tell you why. Because first of all, we saw the big return of James O'Keefe, who came right off the eighth graders and
You're talking about Breitbart.
go ahead. Yes, pretty weird, right? I'm talking about someone who's not with us anymore. No, yeah, I think, like I said, biggest tribute to Andrew Breitbart because once again we saw the return of James O'Keefe, who I said in my website that he is one of the most underrated and one of the most hardest working journalists the entire election with the Project Veritas videos that he was releasing. That guy put in so much work for a whole year. He actually infiltrated the.
Hold that thought, Freddie. Hold the thought, okay? Hold it. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna stop.
Perhaps the moon knows the secret of the new sound.
He's so bright and pull on this emphasis. He's so bright and he walking on my face. He's so bright and
Open your mind. Let us begin our quest to find the new sound. I've got new. Nicey, I've got price.
Look at the shine, everything we need.
I've got new.
Okay, let's have fun.
better bedtime.
I've got new. I've got new.
Look at the shine,
I've got new. I've got new.
look at the shine.
He's so bright and bright, pull on this emphasis. He's so bright and he walking on my face. He's so bright and bright, pull on this and pull on this. He's so bright and he walking on my face. Better bet him.
I've got new. I've got new.
Look at the shine,
I've got new. I've got new.
Hello.
Okay, Freddie, I'm back. I was just testing
Alright,
out
good.
the sound. All right, yeah, you're talking
No
about
worries.
Breitbart.
Yes, Andrew Breitbart. Biggest tribute to him this election. I know I talk about him a lot, but he's one of my biggest inspirations because of what he did. But biggest tribute because we saw the return of James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe came under Breitbart through the Acorn videos when he was still young, reporter or journalist, whatever you want to call him. And now we saw his big return in this election. He actually infiltrated some super PACs and, some foundations that were working close with the Hillary campaign. And you saw the videos. What he released was absolutely, bombshell. The media tried to ignore it, but then you had it brought up even in the debates, which was pretty cool. One of the things was also that was pretty cool that happened is that we actually came close, or it was like I guess you could say like a conflict of interest with what he released and where we were at the time. With the whole Donald Ducks thing,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
talked about it on my Instagram page, which was pretty cool. So, it's good to see the return of James O'Keefe, who I called the hardest working journalist this election. It was just I guess you could say it was just an overall tribute to Andrew Breitbart because we put him in check. Steve Bannon actually became who was very good friends with Breitbart as well, became the campaign manager for Trump, and now he's going to work for Trump. I forgot what position he's going to have, but now he's going to work for Trump. It's just good overall, good for everyone. But I saw it as a tribute to Andrew Breitbart.
yeah, yeah. And pretty much what Andrew Breitbart stood for is basically what we saw Julian Assange do, and so many other people like yourself and all the alternative media people that were trying to educate the masses, and basically we've seen that's the victory right there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, when we won, I say we because like you said, we've all worked during this election. It felt like a group. We all worked hard. I know some people who were on the phones, calling voters, asking them to vote. You with your website, me with mine, and then you have other types of political accounts as well. It's we all put in work. You never know who you impacted. You never know whose vote you might have turned. You never know who you might have reached.
Yeah.
And we were all in it for Trump. We were all in for Trump, and it worked out well.
Yeah. Now, again, that doesn't mean he's going to do everything that he said he's going to do. The only thing I see with his election, because remember, Trump is not a conservative. They don't exist anymore in terms of politics. What he is a nationalist. So he's going to do basically what he can do to try to fix what's messed up. And, again, time will tell. But I know you would stop the left, and many other alternative outlets will hold his feet to the fire. The thing is, like I said, a vote for him, his winning, put a halt to the expedition of globalism through Hillary. So that's a big thing. All the people who don't know what that is should look it up because that's what was halted.
Right, absolutely. And like you said, that's what I try to do. I'm not, yes, I lean right, but I don't let it blind me to the point where I feel that I have to defend something that I don't believe in. If there's something that I do not like about his administration or something that he does, I'm not going to flip my views and say, well, I elected this guy. Yeah, I elected him because I know how much worse Hillary Clinton was. And I like Trump. I'm never going to say Trump was the lesser of two evils. That's such a stupid thing. I don't know why it was. It was thrown around this whole election, the lesser of two evils. You're never going to hear me say that. I actually like the guy Trump, but like you said, he's not perfect. He's not a conservative. He's actually one of the most liberal Republican candidates, socially speaking.
Yeah.
So, if he does something that I'm not in accordance with or I don't believe will move the country forward, I'll obviously call him out on it. I've done it multiple times. Remember with when he was still in the primaries with Ted Cruz, they had a little battle over the LGBT in the bathrooms. And he actually went and said, well, they can use whatever bathroom they like. I don't know if he's changed his stance on that. And I called him out on that. So, he's not perfect. He's not perfect, but he's the best we've got. He is the best we've got. And he's pretty solid. I think he's pretty solid.
Yeah. And again, as far as policies and everything goes, we'll see as time goes on who he surrounds himself with. But we already know the Republican establishment are also filled with globalists like Paul Ryan, Marco Rubio. Now, Ted Cruz, I liked him. He was 50-50 with me, so I kind of liked him. But Rubio, I couldn't stand. I can't stand that guy because he's
I know.
Yeah, he's an out-and-out globalist. I can't stand him. He lied to your face. Mark Levin interviewed him in his new show that he has online. and
Yeah.
he's talking politics, and this guy's saying things to make the Republican ideology or conservative ideology sound good, when he doesn't believe in any of the stuff he's saying at all. He's
Right.
a globalist. And the same thing
Yeah.
with Paul Ryan. You saw by his actions last December when he rubber stamped everything for Obama. He didn't cut nothing.
Mm.
You see, so that
Yeah.
tells you right there
Right.
that they're all in cahoots. It's like professional wrestling. In front of you, they want to tear each other apart, but in the back, where the cameras are off, they're making deals and they're buddies. I mean, so and again, a lot of the smart
Yeah.
people know that. They know that. It's one of the reasons why they voted a non-establishment person into the White House. You see?
Right. That's where I fall off with a lot of the I guess you can say the right wing, the very right wing, because I see it all, like it all goes back once again to what we've been talking about. It's freedom for everyone, not just freedom for what you believe is right, what you believe is correct. You can't be an authoritarian whether you're right or left. It's still not no one benefits from a dictator. No one benefits from that. So that's
No.
why I fall off, because people expect me to defend politicians simply because they're Republican. And I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to sell out and defend someone like George Bush. I'll say it here, and I hope people are offended by this, because I'm not, as Michael Savage said, I'm not trying to join a right wing social club and call myself a big conservative.
Hmm.
That's not what it is. I
No.
will call anyone out, regardless, Republican in front of your name, Democrat. It means nothing to me. I've been called a libertarian too. People see my style and say, "Oh, you're a libertarian, bro." But I don't know, whatever you want to classify me as. I just know that I'm gonna call it out regardless of what it is. If it's Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever they decide to call themselves. If it's wrong, I'll be there on Stop the Left Online
Yeah.
calling them out.
Well, you know something, Freddie. Now that you're talking about classifications, I classify myself as an evangelical Christian conservative slash libertarian. And there's this guy on YouTube who's really interesting. His name is Brian from High Impact Flicks, and I've sent you some links on his videos. That's a guy I would like to interview and talk with, because he's a libertarian slash anarchist. And an
Yeah,
anarchist believes in no government. Means you have no
yeah.
government.
I've met a lot of people through rallies and things like that. I've met anarchists too. I've met a lot of libertarians. Libertarians is not really too classified because not sorry, specified, because you can be a left wing libertarian, right wing libertarian. You could
Yeah.
be any type of libertarian, but it's not really specified. But I've met a lot. I've met white nationalists, which in my view is racist.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
White
Believe the country
nationalists.
should
Yeah.
remain white.
Right.
Right. So I've met a lot, but it's just I don't like to throw myself in any one category. If I had to classify myself, I would say conservative. I've taken polls where I come out centrist, but those polls you can never trust, because, for example, they'll ask you, do you believe the rich should pay more? And I'll say yeah, because I'm thinking of people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates who don't pay their fair share. Those people don't pay their fair share. So that will throw me a little bit to the left. But it's not really a left wing view. That I'm just against corporatism. I'm just against, guys like this who can get away with paying what, 15%. Meanwhile, someone like me and you are paying what, 38% of our income. It's disgusting.
40.
So,
40%.
oh, it's 40 now? Amazing. Yeah. See, I'm living under the delusion that I'm paying, 2% less than you. But, that's what you get when you're, single and well, I'm not single, but not married and
Yeah. Yeah.
no kids, unfortunately. But
You mean
yeah,
fortunately?
that's what it is.
You mean fortunately?
Oh, I mean, fortunately, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Correction.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people know I'm still, a lot of people see me and think, I'm an older guy. I'm actually, I guess you could say pretty young. I'm only 21 years old.
Well, it's the way you carry yourself and the way you're built. I mean, you're a tall guy. You're in good shape, and you're well spoken. I mean, you're way ahead
Yeah,
for your
about to say,
years.
I'm glad you said in good shape. I actually, we've been speaking. That's another big thing, was keeping your body up to par, because when you're in this fight, you're going to be doing a lot of things, and you have to have a strong body. I've seen it. I've seen it. There's times where I'll sleep 2 hours. I'm not lying to you. I will sleep 2 hours, I will get up and work like it's nothing. So you have to build your body to the point where it can take a little bit of beating in order to get the work done. And I don't complain. It's a process that I love. You know, I see other people, not politics, but will do something like what I'm doing, and they're only doing it either for the money or because they want recognition. I do it because it's something I like. It's like therapy for me. It's something that it's somewhere where I can stop the left is something I can look at and basically be free in what I want to say or what I want to put out there. So it's therapy. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, Freddie. So we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank you again, and I'll be interviewing you again as the time goes
Definitely.
on. Another interview I want to do with
Definitely.
you is for the month of December to further discuss some other important topics and issues based
Yeah.
on Stop the Left. So don't hang up. I'm going to stop the recorder, but for now we're going to end this interview. And for those watching on YouTube, if you want to catch Freddie, go to www.stoptheleftonline. That's Freddie's website. And you can also see him on Instagram, stop_the_left. And this is I not to gas you, Freddie, but you're becoming pretty popular. You got the Meninisms interviewing you. You got myself. So
Yeah, but you're
gaining some
you're doing. You gotta give yourself credit too. Though you're doing very well. You got some good names that you've been speaking to, some good names that you've been interviewing as well. So you also have to give yourself credit too. I mean, it's the reason I come on. I've known you for a while. I love what you're doing, and a lot of people don't know this. You're actually the one who introduced me to.
right.
'Cause we talked about it in our first interview. I was a
Conservative
flaming.
apologetics. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. I was a flaming communist, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
But to the people who haven't seen the first interview, check it out and you'll see like the backstory of Freddie from Stop the Left.
Okay, everyone. So God bless everyone, and we'll do it again, Freddie. Don't go
All
nowhere.
right. Thank you.
Hello, this is Freddie from Stop the Left. If you're watching this video, it's probably because I got tired of getting censored by Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social media sites. So I decided to start my own blog, my own website, you can say. It's stoptheleftonline.com. I'm here with the intense Apex alpha male, Leon Cruz, who is helping me start my own blog, which will have a bunch of content, my experiences and my encounters when I go to all these protests, these rallies. It'll have a couple interviews as well, so it should be some fun stuff. I will also include the online store where you can get some of the gear you've been seeing on my Instagram, like the 2A hat or the slut shamer. Bunch of content that will offend people, and it will be strictly uncensored, raw material for you guys. So I appreciate your support, and thank you.